There's one dish that calls to me every single time the rain starts hitting the roof in Bicol, and that dish is Laing. Not the restaurant kind, and not the kind that gets rushed out of a pot in 20 minutes. The slow, quiet kind that simmers in a palayok, while the heavy rain falls outside, filling the whole house with a warmth that belongs only here. Today, that's exactly what I'm making. All morning, it's been the Malamig na hangin that moves through the bamboo groves and settles straight into your very bones until you want to pull your sleeves down and stay close to something warm. That's the kind of cold that calls for cozy cooking. The unhurried, deeply fragrant kind that you can feel before you even sit down at the table. Tagulan here in province turns the sky into the color of old silver, and today it's been that beautiful color since dawn. Before the rain turned heavy, Marco and I walked out to the small plot behind the house together, and that's where we found the Natong waiting, which is what we call taro leaves here in Bicol. Near the water's edge, they grow thick and wide, and Marco worked his way through the mature ones, pulling each stem carefully with his hands. Their color is a deep violet green that bleeds into the broad, velvet soft blades. Holding one in your hands, there's this quiet satisfaction to it, the knowledge that something you grew yourself is about to feed your family. Kai ran out to join us the moment he heard us leave the house, barefoot on the wet earth. Syempre. Because Kai is never anything but barefoot when the ground is calling him. Out in the open shed we laid the natong flat one by one to air dry a little, spreading each leaf with space to breathe. The rule is patience. You never rush a taro leaf, and out there in the cool air with the rain beginning its soft, steady drumming on the powid roof, that thick, muffled sound that only a layered nipa thatch produces. It felt like the province itself was settling in alongside us. Indoors, Tala took over the cleaning and stripping without being asked, which is just who she is. Careful and steady and thorough in a way that makes me proud every single time. Each dried leaf went down flat. On the board, the tough center rib pulled away cleanly, and the rest torn into generous pieces with a gentleness that Bicolano home cooking asks of you from the very beginning. Respect the natong before it reaches the pot. That's the old wisdom. And Tala understands it without needing to be told. What a lot of people miss about taro leaves is that in their raw state, they carry a tiny bit of natural sharpness, which is why drying them first and then simmering them low and slow matters so much. The long, gentle heat transforms them entirely, turning something that once pricked the throat into something soft and nourishing, and perfect for the whole family to eat. By 4 o'clock, Marco had the fire going, quietly and without being asked, the way he does everything around this house. And that's one of those small things I will never stop loving about him. The palayok went on the pugon first, and once it was warm, I laid in the daing, golden dried fish, that releases this deep, smoky, salty smell the second it touches hot oil. The kind of smell that stops everyone in the house mid-sentence. The edges crisped up slowly, and the fat rendered out into the oil, building that savory, smoky foundation that the whole dish would rest on. That's when the ginger, garlic, and onion went in, softening and sweetening in all that fragrant heat. And then the bagoong alamang, our fermented shrimp paste, which caramelized into something almost jammy and rich once it hit the pan. The coconut milk came last, fresh gata pressed from coconuts grown right here, in our barrio. And the moment it poured in and the steam rose up, the kitchen stopped feeling like a room and started feeling like home. Filipino comfort food at its most honest is exactly this. Not fussy, Not complicated, just real ingredients and patient hands. Every Bicolana who knows this traditional Laing recipe will tell you the same thing about what comes next. And it is the step that most people get wrong the first time. The dried natong goes over the surface of the simmering gata, and then you press each handful down slowly with the back of a wide wooden spoon, like tucking something in for a long sleep. You do not stir. Not yet, and not for a while. The lid goes on nicely. The heat drops to something gentle and patient. And for 20 minutes, the pot is left entirely to itself. The leaves drinking in the spiced coconut milk and softening from their dried, papery state into something deeply, beautifully green. 20 minutes gives you just enough time for a few slow stretches by the kitchen window, which is my small ritual of grounding myself in the body before the family gathers at the table. Lifting the lid after that covered simmer, the first thing you notice is the color. The leaves have gone a deep, silky, dark green, and the sauce has thickened around them into something rich and glossy. That's when the Siling Labuyo go in, the small, fiery Bicolano chilies with their upward-pointing tips, red-orange and alive-looking, grown right in the backyard garden and carrying a heat that is all warmth and no cruelty. From there the pot simmers, uncovered a little longer, until the sauce pulls itself tighter and starts hugging every flake of dried fish and every dark leaf with a kind of glossy finish that tells you it's ready. A final drizzle of thick kakang gata over the surface, a small pinch of sea salt, and that was the moment Milo appeared in the kitchen doorway, having smelled it from the living room the way he always does, his hands pressed together in front of his chest like a little prayer. "Mommy, laing na?" he asked. "Sandali na, ana." Rain fell heavy and even on the pawied roof all through dinner, that low, layered drumming making the inside of the house feel even warmer. By contrast, and around the table, everyone ate the way this kind of food deserves, slowly and with real attention to it. Marco worked through 3 servings without a single word of apology. Tala savored hers the way she approaches everything, deliberately and with full appreciation. Kai buried his rice in chili, reached for his water almost immediately, and somehow kept right on going. And Milo, sweet kulit na Milo, with his fair little face and his irrepressible appetite, looked up midway through his bowl and asked if there was more. "Tara, kain na tayo" will never get old in this house. Somewhere in your own memory, there might be a dish that smells exactly like this, or maybe it carries the sound of rain finding its way into a pawied roof, or the voice of someone who used to call you to the table. Whatever this brings up for you, I hope it lands somewhere warm. Leave a comment and tell me, is there a dish that takes you back to the province or to someone you love? Share it down below, because it might just be our very next episode together. A new cozy recipe from the province comes out every single week. Here on Hiraya, Hearth&Home, slow food and real homes, and the kind of living that feels like enough. If this little corner of the world feels like home to you, please subscribe. It truly means everything. And as always, may the desires of your heart come true. Ingat kayo palagi.